G'day, my name is Rod Hannifey and these are the Truckies top tips for sharing the road with trucks. They came about from two separate incidents on the road in one day where motorists who simply did not understand trucks took enormous risks to save a couple of seconds. They risked their own life, those of passengers, and two of them were young children in one of those vehicles, and then mine because of their actions. I pulled up on the side of the road and thought, how can I improve this situation? What can I do to help those people understand us better? I took replies from company drivers first. I asked them, what do we need to do to teach people about sharing the road with trucks? We then went to wider industry through one of the trucking publications, sought drivers' input, and I then collated all of those responses into these tips. Honestly, if we can save one life, prevent one crash from putting these together and making them available to you, then I honestly believe it's been worth every bit of that effort.
To share the road safely with heavy vehicles.
We asked truck drivers for their top tips, and here they are. Don't cut in front of trucks at traffic lights or out on the highway.
Allow a safe stopping space for the truck's size. A loaded B-double can weigh 40 to 50 times that of the average sedan. Because of this huge weight difference, trucks take much longer to stop than a car. A truck travelling at 60 kilometres per hour needs 83 metres to stop. So if you move in front of them at a red light, you're moving into their stopping space and putting yourself at risk.
And that space I leave in front of the truck is for my stopping distance. You may think your car could fit in there, but because it could, it doesn't mean that you should.
As a pedestrian, you wouldn't step out in front of a bus.
So don't do it in your car in front of a truck.
Do not overtake turning vehicles.
It's the law, no matter which way the vehicle turns.
Let's see why this is so important. The truck is moving into the middle of both lanes to protect the inside of the turn. The truck needs to be in the right-hand lane to make the turn safely, otherwise there's just not enough room. If you do try to overtake, you'll become invisible to the driver.
Because once I start to turn, I can't see down the inside of the truck. The mirror comes back onto the inside of the trailers. And if I go wide, it gives me room to get around. But if you stay back behind the sign, it protects you as well.
See, it's only taken a few seconds for the truck to make its turn. And now we can be safely on our way.
When being overtaken by a truck, here are some points to consider. Trucks above a certain size are required to be speed limited to 100 kilometres per hour.
What this means is fuel to the engine is cut once the truck reaches 100 kilometres per hour.
But then even if I push on the accelerator, nothing more will happen.
Except if the truck's going downhill, then gravity comes into play and it's up to the driver to control the speed with gears and brakes.
But what we aim to do is be at maximum speed at the bottom of a hill, so we don't hold you up going up. But remember, and please be patient, we are doing the best that we can. So if I'm catching up to you on the highway, it means that I'm travelling faster than you are, and it would make good sense for you to allow me to pass when it's safe to do so.
When being overtaken by a truck, it's important not to accelerate. Maintain your current speed until the truck is overtaken. As with all the tips, patience and courtesy goes a long way.
Think about road courtesy. The roads would be a lot safer if we all practiced it all the time.
The road transport sector contributes over $48 billion to our economy and moves over 2 billion tonnes of freight every year. And that freight they move are things we use every day, like food, clothing, building materials, the resources that power our home, and that bargain you got online. Impatient and hostile behaviour isn't acceptable in any workplace.
So please try to remember that out there on the road is where we work. So next time you're out on the road, remember it can take us a while to get going. You may not always be able to see what's happening in front of us, but essentially we're doing the best that we can.
Please remember, a little bit of patience and courtesy goes a long way.
Vehicle positioning and spatial awareness.
There's a few different parts of the road. The centre line and the solid, unbroken white line known as the fog line. This shows drivers the edge of the road in adverse driving conditions. But if you ever need to pull off the road, please stay as far away from the fog line as possible. When sharing the road with trucks, people usually think about how long they are.
But what's just as important is how wide they are. So if you see a truck coming towards you, this large surface area can produce wind buffeting. And what we ask is that you keep well away from the centre line and use the left-hand side of your lane. So as I'm travelling down the road, I'm forever scanning up to hundreds of metres in front of me to look for obstacles, cyclists, cars pulling out, whatever it might be. But if you're sitting next to me, you may not be able to see that obstacle. If you're in one of our blind spots, I may not be able to see you, and that can lead to trouble for both of us.
Avoid staying beside trucks for longer than absolutely necessary. And as always, stay left unless overtaking. Being aware of where you position your vehicle can help make everyone safer.
Night driving tips. Do you really want to blind someone coming towards you at a closing speed of 200 kilometres an hour with only 20 centimetres of white paint between you?
When driving in the dark, we rely on our night vision to be able to see. When we are exposed to nighttime glare, it contributes to driver fatigue.
Dip your lights early when behind trucks and when overtaking, and don't move to high beam until you're well past the truck's mirrors.
Next time you put your car in for a service, ask them to check the headlight alignment, and remember that putting a load in the back will affect your headlight alignment too.
Only use fog lights in inclement weather. They can be a hazard when used unnecessarily, and it's against Australian law to use fog lights in fine weather. When reaching the crest of a hill or a corner, dim your lights before you get there.
We hope that that has shed a little bit of light on the situation.
Please remember to use your lights in a way that keeps everybody safe on our roads.
When you are towing a caravan and about to be overtaken by a truck,
Maintain your speed and position, and when the truck moves out to overtake, please don't accelerate or brake.
seeking the advice of a professional is invaluable in making sure you have a safe setup. And remember, weight restrictions apply, so look at your manufacturer's recommendations to ensure safe and legal towing.
Quality mirrors are a must, so you can see everything around you.
A UHF radio is a great tool for communicating with other drivers, and if you fit a Channel 18 sign on the front and rear of your van, it confirms you have a radio and tells us where to be able to communicate with you.
There are 3 channels you should know about. 40 is the highway call channel, used on most Australian highways. 18 is widely used by caravans and motorhomes, and channel 5 is for emergencies. Please remember, as you holiday around Australia,
for us as truck drivers, the road is where we work. Please consider a little bit of patience and courtesy can go a long way to making every trip safer.
Overtaking trucks. Here's how to do it safely.
The problem with following too close behind a truck is if there's something on the road that we can't avoid, like wildlife or road debris, then it will come up underneath the truck, and this gap simply doesn't leave you any reaction time.
when you're too close to the back of a truck, you have very little visibility. So stay well back and make sure you can see well in front of you. We all know to keep left unless overtaking, but this is especially important around trucks because of their blind spots. So if you're going to pass a truck, pass it, don't sit next to it.
Please, once you've overtaken me, maintain your speed. Don't slow directly in front of the truck.
As with all the tips, patience and courtesy goes a long way.
Do not overtake turning vehicle.
It's the law, and this also applies at roundabouts. Let's see why this is so important. The truck is moving into the middle of both lanes to protect the inside of the turn.
Doing so, I'm trying to prevent you getting into that dangerous position of being beside me. Yes, the truck will go through the roundabout in a single lane, but the trailers will track across into the other lane. So please be patient with us at roundabouts. We're doing our best to get you home safely.
A common misunderstanding on roundabouts is that you always give way to the right. Actually, every state dictates that drivers entering a roundabout must give way to any vehicle that's already on it, regardless of their position. So if you arrive at the entrance at a similar time, perhaps just slow a little and let the truck continue its momentum. A little bit of patience will help everyone on the road be quickly and safely on their way.
We hope these tips will help you to safely share the road with trucks. We all want to get home at the end of the day. For further tips, go to sharetheroad.net.au. Till next time, I'm Rod Hannifey. Safe travelling.